Hi, YouTube. I'm Mrs. Dr. Lupo.
And I'm Sam, and today we are talking about body image from the male perspective with fellow creators Crispy Gameplay and Big Cheese KIT.
It definitely is interesting conversation that I feel like we're going to have because we're obviously not males. And it's so interesting because a lot of the perspective of the world gets pushed on females, but I'm excited to see this. Remember though that if this is a trigger warning for you personally, we totally understand skipping today's episode and seeing us next time. But for more live content every Friday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific.
Yep, or if you want more of our recorded stuff and more magic over here, make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks.
Okay, bye.
It's from the male perspective.
Let's go. Or should we do magic? Do a little magic. Do a little magic.
Okay. Wait. You know what?
Where's
I'll
your
give
wand?
one.
I have a
Wand.
spoon.
All right. 3, 2, 1. I don't know what I'm doing. Switchio. Yay!
Oh,
Welcome.
hello, guys. Welcome to our chaos.
Really quickly, and have y'all introduce yourselves. Let us know your pronouns and a little bit about your stream. So, Crispy, let's start with you, friend.
Okay, hi, how's it going, guys? My name is Crispy Gameplay. I'm a variety streamer here on Twitch. I play a lot of horror games, mostly Dead by Daylight, Phasmophobia right now, and the occasional game that my community wants me to see or wants to see me play. I have a fluffy little bunny. His name is Sylvie. He's my co-pilot. He's 3 years old. He's actually just sitting next to me right now. He's always around.
I love
Um,
Sylvie.
and my pronouns are he, him, but they, them is also completely fine.
Thank you. And then Big Cheese. What about you, brother? Go.
Hello. My name is well, my actual name is Jakeem, but I go by Big Cheese or Big Cheese KIT. And for those that don't like to say my name right, Big Cheese Kit. Don't say
That
that
was
though.
me.
But I'm a variety streamer, entertainer slash everything here on this platform called Twitch, and I like short walks on the beach, and I play games every day of the week. I am your Tetris professional there, or what you want to call that. And I just like to make sure that everything here in my world is good and is yours too. So let's have some fun today.
Yeah.
If you guys
That's
watched
awesome.
Ben's Build Against Cancer stream last year, Cheese was one of our guests on there. So you destroyed a lot of Tetris. It raised a lot of money for the kiddos.
GCXs?
That's
You
their
play
fault.
Tetris?
What?
That's their fault. Oh, I said that. I think the past 2 GCXs as well. You did Tetris, I think.
Yes, I did Tetris,
Yeah.
and I love Tetris, and I hope
You're
they
so
continue to
good
make
at it.
Tetris. And like I don't know, just like it's just natural to me. Like it's funny how I can solve those puzzles, but it took me 3 hours to solve a actual 200-piece puzzle the other day. So I'm smart but slow. So
That's okay.
You have you're a specialty puzzle solver.
yes,
There we go.
There you go.
like I understand square shapes, but if it's any shapes like
Any
no,
curves?
yeah, it takes time. It takes
I'm
time.
right there
know
with you. I'm right there with you.
It's too many curves. What are you talking about? Well, speaking
No.
of curves, we all got them. And we're going to be talking about some body image today. So, as we had already said, but just in case it is not clear, we are going to be talking about body image. And I know that that can be a trigger warning. So, please, if that is too much for you, don't feel bad. Exit the conversation. We'll be here next week for something else. We don't know what yet. We always figure it out in the end. but yeah, so just make sure you're taking care of yourselves with that. And as for that, shall we
Let's
continue
go.
on? Yeah. So speaking of body image, like how did you get to where you are right now with your body image? And also when it comes to answering, if y'all want to just like go in a circle or whatever feels right to speak up. But yeah, so where you are now, how did you get there? Like, are you comfortable? Did it take a lot of kind of mentality or I don't know, because this industry is already great at beating us down in many ways. So
Right.
how do you lift you up?
By default, this is all love. Okay. This is all love with a little bit of sweets, a little bit of extra food, eating after a certain day. So this is all here. But I guess like when it comes to my image, y'all say like everybody has curves. I have interstate exits that go around the corner, so
Jeez.
it's a difference. But I've learned to accept, you know, um, who I am and my shape, my size. Because like during school, I was picked on about my size. I was picked on about my weight, and I didn't know how to counterattack it. Because like usually like with people they'll counterattack it. Oh, really, really, really type of thing. So when people call me out of my name or they call me fat or whatever, whatnot, I just turn it into a parody or I improvise and make a song out of it. So like as much as you want to pick on my size and my shape, nobody can outdo me when it comes to making fun of me. That's how I look at it. So yeah, I was bigger than this though. Like to be honest with you, I was like in a 3X, 4X shirt. And I put those on now and I'm looking like, my wife in my t-shirts. So it's like, nah, this can't work out for me. I gotta get some smaller t-shirts. I just do like I just put like 7 bags of clothes. I sent them to Goodwill the other day because I want to eat healthier and do right, and like I'm drinking a lot of water now and eating a lot healthier now. But when it comes to image itself, the image is what you paint. That's how I look at it. So
Oh,
whatever picture you paint for yourself, that's your image. Nobody else can make an image of you but you.
geez, that's so good. I never thought about it like that. Thank you. Crispy, what about you?
I think for me it's been kind of a weird journey because I played high level college hockey in college. I played hockey all my life. I was always an athlete, but it was always like I was a goalie, right? So I wasn't, the I was a good athlete, but I was never like the physical specimen of like a hockey player that everyone like thinks about, or like college athlete, high school athlete, stuff like that. It took me a while to kind of figure out what was going on with my body and kind of figure out what I thought about my self-image for a long time, because in high school I was kind of the kid that was always like a little bit bigger, not much, but like I had a little bit of extra body weight. And it took me a long time to accept the fact that like that was completely normal and not a weird thing. And unfortunately, like to other people, when you're like high school kid or middle school kid or whatever, that's not, if you're any bit different, whether it be physically, or mentally or anything like that, you're fortunately going to get picked on sometimes the way that the world is.
Yep.
So it was always like a very sensitive topic for me, even though I was never, like in a position where my health was detrimental because of my weight. So I always thought I was bigger than I was, just because of, unfortunately, the groups that I spent time with or, grew up with, stuff like that. And it took me a long time to kind of like get into a place where I kind of accepted who I was from a physical standpoint. And, I don't know if we'll specifically talk about like the last year and a half or so, but like I went from being, pretty physically fit coming out of college to very, very unfit after my career ended, to then fit again, to then unfit again in COVID. So like over like a 7-year span, my body went through some very radical changes physically. Um,
Mhm.
Probably not healthy changes, swinging
Yeah.
back and forth.
Right.
So where I'm at now is kind of the culmination of me now being 31, um accepting the fact that there's just some things I cannot control when it comes to my body. And someone who, deals with Lyme disease, mental health issues, stuff like that, that keep me physically down a lot. It took me a really long time to pair that with the fact that I gained a bunch of weight from COVID too. And I'm only now accepting the fact that this is who I am. This is what I'm going to be. And it's okay to be like this for right now. And maybe I change it as time goes on. But it's just been a very interesting, like back and forth, up and down for me, to be completely honest. You
Yeah,
know?
Side note, did you say Lyme disease?
I
Yes.
did.
Lyme
I knew that
warrior
y'all
here
would click.
too.
Yeah, I do. I know you have, I know we haven't met before this, but
Right.
yeah, like I also have Lyme disease. Yeah.
I knew you both had it. I was excited to connect.
Yeah.
Right. What's weird though is
Yes.
that Lyme is different for every single person, right? So like
Yes.
my experience is probably way different from your experience, except there's always like the one underlying of like pain or fatigue kind of thing.
Yes.
But
Hmm.
interesting. We'll have to talk later.
Yeah.
Well,
You mentioned going back and forth with like, you know, healthy and unhealthy and healthy and unhealthy. And then it feels like no matter where anybody really was, once quarantine and COVID and everything hit, everything was just feels like it got let go by everyone. It's like, what were we really supposed to do? Not a lot of people had access to things at home. And you had to limited access to what foods you could eat and stuff like that. Like that, I guess that never really hit in my head that the whole world pretty much just went into an unhealthy spiral in more ways than just mental, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
Ugh.
say. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you.
Uh, I was gonna say like it's like physically, mentally, emotionally, like a lot of ways that COVID had literally struck us down to a point where it's like, wow, we can't go anywhere, we can't do anything. It's kind of crazy. We can't, actually just go outside and have a breath of fresh air. You can't even do that because it's like, well, it's in the air now, type of thing. Because everybody has their own superstitions about it. But yeah, the main thing that tore me apart actually during the whole serious part of COVID was um uh July of last year. I had suffered a stroke. Um and I was in the hospital by myself. I like nobody could visit me, nobody could come see me, nobody could do anything. So it was a hard like a hard moment for myself because it was like I can't see nobody, I can't talk to nobody, face to face and let them know how I feel about this whole thing. Not feeling anything on my right side for a couple of days. It was devastating. It was literally hell on earth for me.
Yeah.
So, just knowing that when people go through things in life and you also add COVID to that because now it's like you wanted that, support there for you physically, like by your side, by your left side, by your right side, and you couldn't get that. And I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. So to feel like I'm in this hospital, all I have is the same movies that they show, it's the same food that they bring you. It like I ain't never been to prison or I ain't never been to jail. I kind of in a way feel that I felt that way when I was like, man, just bring my chicken wings and fries, man. I'm good. And I'm watching the same movie over and over and over again. It's like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. But they have been making progress to try to rid of COVID, and I just hope that the progress continues to go on because we need to live like this for the next 2-3 years. Honestly,
Yeah.
I miss going to conventions. I miss going to see my friends. I miss going to visit my friends like on a regular occasion. Can't even do that. But yeah, it's just this whole thing is like messing with all of us in many ways possible. So like when I say like physically, mentally, I say allly, in all ways possible. It's just messing us up. So I just hope that overall health wise, we make better options. The same way that we can work from home, we can exercise from home. The same way that we're able to do things, in the workplace, we can do it at home. We just have to put our mind to it because we're so comfortable at being at home. We don't want to do the exercises at home. I have a sectional right here. I don't want to do no jumping jacks and then that's that. No, I don't want to do any of that. So we just have to mentally prepare ourselves or mentally get ourselves in a way where we can make home a certain exercise routine, like small little dumbbells or a little jump rope or just do some yoga. Just something that helps your mental and your peace.
And in going off of that, so what are different like books or toolkits or videos or things that y'all have been able to utilize during the past year and COVID or just in general for your either working out or your yoga or something to help with mentality or anything like that?
Ring Fit Adventure.
Do you
I've
Yeah.
seen
like
a lot of people do the
A
Ring
lot of people
Fit
like
this year
that.
and
Yeah.
like that. Remember when like the Wii Fit pad first came out too, and everybody was doing that all the time. And I always felt like, though, like doing yoga on that, you'd stand on the pad and you would do one move and that's it. And then it would be like, good job. And then you'd have to go back to the menu and like find another thing. And it seems like they've definitely improved with the Ring Fit.
Yes, they did more than improve. Like you think like you just have one little small session of yoga or jumping. No, this is a whole RPG
Workout?
adventure where you level up and you have special moves and like it's a mixture of Mario Bros, Final Fantasy, and literally putting Tabo together. So your exercising and your moving is your progression in the game. So if you don't exercise or you don't jog or you don't walk, you're not progressing in the game. So anybody that wants to exercise at home and you want to make it fun, I would definitely recommend the Ring Fit Adventure. You know, I lost a couple of pounds myself, as you can see here. So, you know, it's definitely good though. It's fun, and if you are a big guy like me, they have the thigh thing you strap onto your thigh. You might want to order an extension on that, you know, just in case. Just let you know ahead of time.
We appreciate that. So for our guys out there, that make sure you get that extension. Is that an offer? Like, do they have that?
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, not Nintendo, but
should.
you know, you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah,
you know,
like a
already,
third party.
yeah.
yeah, it's the
All
same
right,
size too.
Nintendo, you missing out on the market. Come on.
Yeah, you missing out on the plus size individuals that really want to do this stuff. All right, you need to
Mhm.
get it together.
Tell them.
What about you, Crispy?
You know, for me, I'm still trying to figure it out. Because the last year, and it's weird, right? Because I think I have like a little bit of a unique situation because I haven't been a full-time content creator until COVID. Like I've streamed for years, but I've never done this full time until I actually lost my job because I had to. I was a professional brewer for like 6 years, so I brewed beer for a living. And for me, while I was always like kind of struggling with my self-image and health, I always had that blue collar job where I'd go in, sweat my butt off, work my ass off, and kind of have that feeling that even if I wasn't losing weight, I was doing something because I was on my feet all day, lugging grain bags around, brewing, sweating, yada yada. So when my boss actually furloughed us at the beginning of COVID, I was like, all right, and I gained a bunch of weight. I'm thankful that I live right next to my best friend and his fiance in the same apartment complex because we got to quarantine together, so that was cool. But um, eventually, when I came back, story for another time. But I lost my job. I didn't have any outlet to kind of do anything physical. Right, I transferred into being a full time content creator from part time, and most of my time was spent right here. So I'm still trying to figure that out, to be honest. And like it's like anything else, self-image and fitness and stuff like that. They're not a linear journey by any means.
Right.
And for me right now, one of the things I'm trying to do now that the world is a little bit open, even though it's still on fire, is a lot of like walking and stuff, which is so funny because back when I was younger, I would be like, walking, that doesn't do it. I gotta run. But like just walking, just like going on a 3 mile walk with my pals or something like that for me has been keeping me kind of better shape here and better shape kind of here, but still working on it. I'm just completely honest,
Yeah.
still trying to figure it out.
I always feel like when people say to themselves that they want to change their lifestyle, that they feel like they have to just like go all the way in. Otherwise it doesn't count. But stuff like the Couch to 5K program, that is one of the most successful programs to teach people how to run, right? Like nobody can just get up and go run 5K and be okay at the end if they had never really done it before. And I'm with you. I do a 3.5 mile walk every single week with my sister-in-law, and I'm sweating my butt off. And we we power walk like we're the little ladies at the mall kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of this kind of.
I love watching the little shuffle.
We've only got the little
Yeah.
wiggle butt going on, but it takes us only like 45 minutes to do a 3 mile walk. So that's not too much slower than the average pace for somebody to run a mile. Um, it it definitely walking does it for you for sure.
Yeah, I used to do more outdoor walking, but I haven't recently. I've been doing this like treadmill thing where I just walk in an incline at a certain speed for 30 minutes and I'm sweating bullets. But if you don't have, of course, like a treadmill or something that you're able to have access to like that, walking is really important. Not only that, but I like the scenery.
Mhm.
Looking around and just enjoying nature is kinda delightful, especially after a year of being stay inside.
Yeah.
So, and that actually, with me personally, that helps me with my mental state, is getting out and just enjoying the fresh air because we haven't been able to do that as much, and being able to do that again, it's so good for the psyche. And not only that, but you're doing a little bit of a workout as well. But like Crispy was saying, sometimes it's a roller coaster for sure, right?
Right.
And like Sam said, you can't just jump in. And it's okay to have those fluctuations. Like I worked out Monday and Tuesday this week, and then my body shut down and I was like, just kidding. We're gonna rest a lot. And
Hmm.
that's fine. It is a lifelong journey, and it just it sucks that, especially in this industry, it's pushed on you to look certain ways or to be happy on camera all the time, and then that messes with your mental health, which can then mess with your physical health, and it's constantly rolling with punches that we shouldn't have to deal with as
Right.
people, but we do because we're entertainers and we're put on this, like, ridiculous pedestal of needing to be happy because other people watch us for their happiness,
True.
and it's a mess to say the least. But with your transformations in like throughout life and stuff, has it been mostly physical and a little bit of mental, or has it been mostly mental, a little bit of physical, or has it been pretty evenly both? Whoever can take that on. That's a loaded question.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I kind of alluded to it before, but it was both, right? Because
Mm,
my body's been through many stages of being, what's considered fit by society and not. So I've been at the point where I've been fitting that stereotypical body image that people look at for a male and they're like, "Oh, that guy's in shape." And I've
mm,
been and currently am in that more like, not slash jokingly dad bod kind of thing, you know? So it's and bigger too, a lot bigger actually. So it's like it's one of those things where it's both, and your journey through your mental state, especially when you're younger too, and you're a little more mature, you have a lot of people, like I said, I was always a little bigger. So like for me, getting picked on and kind of being the feeling like the black sheep my whole life with that kind of stuff was a little, rough and kind of helped form the negative opinion that I had of myself for a long time. But it's both, and I think it's sneaky, especially with men, because especially growing up, it was still a time period where men really didn't really kind of talk about this kind of stuff, or it was like, if you talked about how you weren't feeling good, either in your head or if with your body, people would kind of scoff at you a little bit. At least it was a lot more stigmatized then than it is now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
dang.
Uh,
That's
yeah.
frustrating to hear, like,
Yeah.
that men haven't really been able to have that moment of being able to be confident in their skin outside of what, of course, media wants. Because we know the movement has been really good for women in particular about body image and, being plus size and stuff like that, but didn't really even think about it for men.
Mm.
Because basically by default, us men, no matter what we look like, we're supposed to be happy with it.
Mm,
And that's definitely not the case at hand. Like, we have feelings too, humans. Okay. You know? But no, like in all honesty, I just feel like for us, we have to put our feelings to the side, man up, move on from that situation. Like it's always like I said, a stigma on us that we have to perform no matter what our shape is. And some of us have serious health conditions where we're not able to perform, and the world loves to show, the dudes with like the 6 to 10 abs and chiseled chests and biceps, triceps, but you have somebody like myself, if you put me on the magazine or you put me on the book, it's like, oh, that guy's fat, whatever, and just move on from the whole thing because the world or the image is basically saying you have to be skinny to be accepted. You have to be skinny to for people to love you. It's like I don't have a six pack. I have a Zephyr Hills bottle belly. That's what I have. Because I don't really drink beer like that. That's why I call
Yeah.
it. Them big Zephyr Hill bottles you turn upside down. That's what I have. That's my belly. And my body has stretch marks and everything there. I call my stretch marks Google Maps. So this is what I have. And like I said, I accept it. But at the same time, I do get a little discouraged, you know what I'm saying? Like as far as like being my size, and I try to put on some pants that I used to be able to wear. I can't wear them anymore. So it's like this is a little bit discouraging, Like we carry those feelings too. Like, dang, I can't fit these pants anymore. I can't fit this shirt anymore. Okay, these drawers are too small. These look like some speedos on me now. Can't have these on anymore. So you can't turn boxer briefs into speedos unless you get bigger. So that is what we go through as far as like, our body weight. And it's like, wow, we have to do something. And when we try to do something, we also have bad habits.
Mm.
We eat a lot of we eat too much food, or we eat too many snacks, or we eat after a certain time. And that's just us. And it'd be like, well, this is what we do. And that's that. And then we wake up, next thing you know, we have bad health conditions because of it. And then we don't progress on doing something about it until we have to go to the doctor and they tell us, hey, you have type 2 diabetes, or
Yeah.
hey, you have this and that here. And it's like this, it's you don't want to wait till it's too late to make that progression to do something. And I can admit I did it a few times myself. And I don't ever want to go back to what I was before. That is not like not being able to speak correctly, or not being able to walk correctly, or stumbling over because you don't have balance. That's not a good thing, knowing that I always move around and dance and stuff like that. So I need to have my b-boy steps in, so I'm always moving. I invested in a sit stand desk now. So like these are things I'm trying to do to help myself. And the small things really make a big impact on life. And it's making an impact for me.
It's so weird to hear you guys talk about this because you're right there's never really been until recently, and I still feel like for men it's in the baby stages of just getting that support out there. But it was either like you were muscular or you weren't, or you were skinny or you were fat, or like there was never anybody that was kind of in between. They just kind of got glazed over. And there's never been like I don't know, for women, it's always been like this front page news. Oh my gosh, they're making fun of how they look and this is horrible. But for men, they're just like, oh yeah, he's just the fat funny guy, or he's just the weak little skinny kid. And everyone just accepts that and moves on. But if you said that about a woman, then all of a sudden, like, you're the worst person in the whole entire world for saying that about a female versus a male. And it blows my mind, and also makes me really feel for the male world out there that you guys weren't capable or able to express yourself without seeming weak. Right? Like, if you're like, man, I just don't feel good about me today, and someone's going to be like, suck it up, bro, kind of thing. Or it just, that really sucks. And
that's too damn bad. Like, no,
everyone's entitled to feel bad sometimes, and then everybody's entitled to need a little bit of help and to, need to figure out their own thing without that pressure. And I feel like, especially with traditional media and stuff, it's all focused on women, on, you need to be like this, but you can't say that. And it just, I don't even know how to put it into words. It just is really interesting to hear on the male side of things that everything is kind of just like swept under the rug until recently. And even then, like I said, it's the baby stages, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
now we have a lot of celebrities that are kind of like in between the masculine and feminine side. So I feel like at least for that, the softness of what men can be is starting to become more acceptable in your emotions and stuff like that. But do you guys feel like as far as physical representation, it's like that as well, or is it still black and white?
I would say that it's still black and white. Because when you brought up the topic about how a woman is talked about as far as gaining weight, like they will be talking about that for like a good 5 minutes, 10 minutes on like Entertainment Tonight or whatever that is, right? Because Vin Diesel, like it was a picture of Vin Diesel, and he had the little belly out, and he was drinking some beer on a boat or whatnot, and it was like, yeah, he gained weight. Cool. What's the next story? And that was it. But
Mm-hmm.
like, but I do recall like people always making fun of Lizzo for being plus size, and they will continue to make fun of her because of her size. And it's like, you got to stop doing that. You can't make everybody skinny on this planet. And if
Mhm.
you are able to do that, then why don't you help them instead of trying to discourage them all the time? So Lizzo, on her part, truly accepted who she was, and not trying to become skinnier or not trying to do anything for everybody else's happiness. She is happy the way she is, and we as humans have to respect that. People always fail to respect other people's, what's the word I'm looking for?
Boundaries?
Yes, boundaries, standards. So like if we don't respect them and their boundaries or their standards, then we don't respect them as a human being. And that's the line that's crossed by the media every day. That's the line that's crossed by humans every day. We don't respect boundaries, we don't respect standards. We have to give people their happiness and let them have it. And
Yeah.
it's crazy how like this is how the media generates views and money, because there are people out there that's just like them.
Yeah,
And
that's
you
that's so frustrating.
yeah,
Sorry
and
to
like,
cut you
oh no, you're fine. And like I said, you are, like I feel like you are who you attract. So with me being me, I'm goofy, entertaining, have charisma. I attract that kind of people, and they stick around. But if I was like this ass that's always making fun of people, or like really like condescending and things like that, then that will be my crowd. You see what I'm saying? And it's like there
Yeah.
are people out there that you attract. So if that's what they do, I mean, I don't respect it, but it's just there's different ways of handling things, and people just don't they don't want to do that because it brings in views, it brings in money. So it's just weird how
Mhm.
morals are just out the window. So
It's kinda what happened with the Kardashians. The one brother, Rob
mhm,
Kardashian, he
mhm.
gained weight and the media has eaten him up to this day about
Mhm.
how heavy he is
They tore
compared
him
to
apart.
his sisters, like, fit and curvy and, like, the dream bodies, and, like, nobody talks about the mentality that he's probably in because of that, and anytime he's shown in public, they just talk about his weight. That's all
Yeah.
they do,
Yeah.
and it's been, like, a decade and so now
Mm.
since he's kinda stepped away because of the media, and but the thing is, it's accepted that that's normal to pull him down and just, like, people look at it as, pulling down men about their weight will encourage them to lose it,
Mhm.
you know? Which
Yeah.
is disgusting. It's
I feel
so
like
bad.
Jonah Hill is another good
Yeah.
example of that. And
Hmm.
he came back and everyone's just like, oh my gosh, cool, he looks amazing. And then it just gets forgotten about. But if a woman is overweight and they come back into the spotlight and they're like, oh my gosh, did she have surgery? Did she,
Mhm.
it just
Yeah.
instantly
That
goes
look.
to that. And it's just so,
Yeah.
it's so
Look.
weird.
It's invasive.
It's
It's really
very invasive.
invasive.
It's so weird how society still looks at body image with both men and women, like
Mhm.
especially on like a celebrity scale too, because like unfortunately that's what like a lot of what we base our things off of, which is a whole nother story for another day. I feel like, but that mentality. But you look at people like Seth Rogen or Jonah Hill or like men like that who have been typecasted their whole life, and there's those are just the few two that come to mind. There's probably a gazillion others typecasted. I remember Seth Rogen talking about how he's typecasted as the kind of like the fat funny stoner for so long because that's just how he looked, and he literally could not get another role even though he wanted to until he started directing his own movies and could do more serious stuff. And
Right.
that's why he hates Hollywood so much and is so like anti, what's going on in Hollywood and whatnot. And like, you look at it from there, and then you look at football athletes, right? A guy comes into training camp and he's 30 pounds heavier than he was last year, and people make such a big deal about it. And it's like, okay, I get it. He's an athlete, whatever. But it's the weird way that the media treats men and the kind of like physical, depending on where you are and what you do in life, the physical like attributes that you have to check the box off or whatever. It's so weird, and like we were talking how it's like in the early stages of men kind of being able to talk about this kind of stuff and be more open and honest about it. Then there's just the weird juxtaposition of the way the media treats you. It's just such a weird world right now, and the way that the different categories of the world like look at men. It's just so strange. I don't know. It's tough to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Men are looked at weak real easily.
So
Like, if
easily.
they show
Right?
any kind of vulnerability, it's instant weakness. And
Yeah.
then, I I know that especially this past year, mental health has been massive concern amongst many. But even still, if a man comes out with having struggles even from this past year, which is very, very, like, I don't know what word I'm trying to say, seen, like, it's happening a lot, amongst everybody, and so it makes sense that men are struggling too, but it's still just like, "Yeah, well, you're a man, you'll be fine." And it's stupid. It's stupid.
It's-
And it's not
and,
fair.
and that's what it is. It's like, have some pride. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm proud to let you know I am really not feeling this right now.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm
and
proud that I'm sad. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
doesn't make
and
sense. How do you guys
right.
handle negativity in your chat about the way that you look? Every streamer gets it, whether
Mhm.
it's a woman that if they show even the tiny bit of skin, that all of a sudden they're a slut, or if they're overweight, then they're ugly, or and then with men, like my husband Ben, he gets told all the time that he looks tired and that he needs to XYZ. And so many people just say, well, don't read chat then. And that's
Love
like
those
the
comments.
worst advice ever, because then if you don't read chat, people are like, why aren't you reading chat? Just don't read the
Mhm.
negative comments. And Ben recently said something on stream where he was like, do you realize I have to read the comment first to realize if it's negative or not? So I've already read it. I can't just like unread it. So how do you guys handle that when there's negativity in your chats? Or have you, garnered a good enough community that you don't feel it as much?
Let me sit down for this one.
Mm.
Ugh.
Sorry.
I love it.
The transition's great. Yeah.
We
Hi,
need more transitions like that.
welcome to my TED Talk. Now, um, so as far as my image and as far as you know being on Twitch, everything that has been happening for the past couple of months have been insane. Um, and what I mean by that is, not just based off of my size, but based on my skin color. As a black streamer on this platform, if people have not been recognizing what's been going on, people of color and the LBGT have been suffering with what's called hate raids from random
Yeah.
individuals that goes on your platform, does a follow bot, and a lot of racial slurs are behind that, or a lot of hateful things are behind that. And I've witnessed hundreds of people suffer through that.
Yeah.
And mentally, it will take its toll on people that haven't been on this platform as long as I have been. I've been on since 2013. I've been streaming since 2013. I've been creating content since 2006. So for me to witness other people that they stop streaming, they just stop streaming completely. They asking for help from the platform, and it's frustrating because they want to be able to continue to build a community. They want to build a following. They want to continue making progress with that. And you know how we can't have a bigger following, or we can't have a lot of followers, because we have to have limitations on what we do as streamers. We have to do a word filter on all the words in
Yep.
many different ways. And then we have to have follower mode on. We have to have a filter where we protect ourselves at all times. We have to do this. So we can't have the hundreds and thousands and hell, even millions of followers, because we always have to set limitations to ourselves on these platforms. Me, I'm at 53,000 followers as of right now. Why don't you have a million followers? Because I'm limited to where I can go as far as numbers. My impact makes a hell of a big difference on this platform. And that's why I say impact over numbers. But how I handle the situation when people come to my channel doing that stuff, I even made a song about it. But
Did you?
yeah, I made a song about it when people came to my channel being racist and stuff. And I said sub mode on, pay to be a racist. So you can't talk on my channel unless you pay for it. So it's like I made like a joke about it, but it is a serious thing to where you have to protect yourself mentally, because racism has been around for so many years, and it still goes on because people don't want to learn the whole process of what you do when you come at somebody like that, and what the effect that it has on people. So when it comes to the chat, I have a great community. I have a great family as far as mods. I call them mozzarellas, so because I'm cheese. But like I feel like
Love that.
overall the pressure is always on for us, and growth is a little slow, but as long as you have a great community, whether it's one person or 1,000, please know you're doing something right. Don't be discouraged by any hate messages. Don't be discouraged by people that want to see you fail, because that person is watching you. And guess what? That's viewership. Go for it. But
Take the views. Take the views.
exactly. But just you have to handle it professionally. Some people don't handle it professionally, and that's respectable too, because they came on your platform being disrespectful. So handle it how you want to handle it, and take care of your mental brain. Protect yourself at all times as far as your image, your mind. Protect yourself, because if you let that get to you, then a lot of people be like, well, turn off the chat. Like somebody said, don't read chat, right? So don't read chat. Just stream. Be a Fortnite player. It's like, no, you can't do that. That's your community. You can't do that. So protect yourself.
Super side note before Crispy, you answer. We did have a show. Was it 2 shows ago that we talked about hate raids? One last show?
Oh, yeah, I think it was with Calamity Darling.
Yep, we had Calamity Darling and my lawyer
Lawyer
friend come and talk about just the climate of content creation. So if you guys are watching this now, either live or on YouTube, and you want to go watch our conversation about that, it is up on YouTube now. So
Yeah, because she's made a lot of really good points that are unfortunately still kind of ongoing, but yeah.
But what about you, Crispy? How do you handle the negativity that comes into your stream while you're on and entertaining?
I think I have to say, because coming from basically the most privileged position that you can be, being who I am, it's going to be a lot different from what Cheese was talking about and with the hate raids and stuff like that. But a lot of it is surface level kind of, nitpicks at my character or my, who I am and stuff like that. And that's kind of a plague in content creation. People think that, because you're a content creator, they can nitpick and take apart every little aspect of you and who you are in a public forum, and that's okay. Um, and it sucks, because like the biggest thing is you become numb to it, like, which is
Yeah.
not the healthiest way to deal with it. But I think over time and doing this, now I'm almost on 5 years. Cheese, you've been doing it forever. Some of you guys have been doing it forever. Like you get to the point where you just kind of turn it off and you kind of, whatever it is, a comment, you ban it, you move on. You don't let it affect you, yada yada yada. We don't even let it kind of ruminate and process in our brain. Especially as, again, especially as a content creator, you kind of just shut it off.
Right.
And there really is no book on how to deal with it in a healthy way, especially when people are nitpicking on your appearance, because that's something that I've dealt with my whole life in lesser forms where people, made fun of my weight or made fun of my, whatever. I used to have a stutter that appeared more than it does now, like things like that. It's tough. And again, when you look at the whole and kind of like the hyper masculine world that society still tries to put on every single male presenting person, it's we're supposed to kind of just move on. And I'm actually curious. I know I'm not the interviewer, but I'm curious at throwing a question back at Cheese. Like,
Yeah.
do you feel with all the hate raids and stuff going on and all the stuff that you're dealing with as a black man, do you feel some, and especially because we live in, unfortunately, a patriarchal kind of society, at least the mentality, do you
Right.
feel like you have to be kind of like the patriarch or big male figure in terms of like, is there pressure on you there because you're a black man to kind of be that extra, be the guy, be the you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm curious. Yeah, exactly, like
I have to be because I am here. No, 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 but no, no.
No,
I have to be.
Yeah,
And it's not because of how long I've been on the platform. It's because I am an influence, whether
yeah,
people don't know it or not. I am somebody that people look up to or look forward to seeing. So that makes me an influence. So imagine being one of the biggest influences in the black community as far as Twitch and not being able to stand up for this, not being able to
Mm.
fight for this situation and just like ignoring it. Oh, I'm just going to ignore it, get my money and just continue on. It's like
yeah,
if I have that mentality throughout this whole thing and not looking at who it affects, I'm not a good leader. But if as a person, if I don't step up and say something, or if I don't step up and be like, yo, this is way out of control, this is getting way out of hand, I can't call myself a leader. And I can't call myself somebody that will fight for everybody on this platform, not just for the black community, but for everybody because it affects everybody. I've lost personal followers because they felt uncomfortable in my chat because that happened. So it's not just affecting you know black streamers overall, even though it is, but it's not just affecting us, it's affecting others that come into your channel that is not person of color or that is not part of that whole situation at hand because they have to see this for themselves. And then, they have kids watching you. So it's like, mommy, daddy, what's that word with the two, so it's like, oh damn. I'm so sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to apologize to that person because of somebody else's ignorance. So yeah, I have to be the big guy. I mean, not figuratively, but I have to be that. I have to be that guy that steps up to the plate and say something. And if I don't say anything, or if I don't represent, my side of the world as far as what's going on, then I can't call myself a leader. I'm a false leader.
yeah,
Dang. It's weird because I don't ever have to think about that
Right. As a
ever.
woman, we are told that it's okay that we're just told that we're weak, right?
Mhm.
And
Like it's okay to be weak and small.
so it's very interesting to hear because the male trait is usually strong or
Right.
hard
Mhm.
or whatever like that. And for as females, we're over here like we're supposed to be, the
Yeah.
little princess that needs the knight to come
And when we're
save
strong,
us.
we're abrasive and people
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
handle
exactly.
us.
If we
Like,
speak up, then all of a sudden we're harsh and not a woman and all this
yeah,
kind of
too
stuff.
aggressive.
But then with men, if you show that you're soft, then and that you have emotions and in feelings, then all of a sudden you're weak.
Right.
And why why can't we just all be in the middle, right? And then be able to go up and down wherever we want to.
In
I
a
don't
perfect world.
right? In a perfect world. But who is it really mainstream media that's putting this on us, or is it just like something that has been taught to us going way back, and we just haven't reached the limit where all those people that taught this are no longer here? Does that make sense? Like, is it our grandparents that taught our parents and our parents taught us, but are we like the generation that is finally figuring this out? So it's not going to be until we're the oldest generation that there's going to be more change.
Right.
Does that make sense? Or is
I
this
would
just
say
going to
that's
be a
true.
thing that is going to go forever because we can never break it because it's not a universal thing that people think? There's always going to be those people that are toxic masculinity and that talk down to women. And there's always going to be women that are going to be abrasive and loud and stuff like that. And not
I think it's
soft at
always
all.
going to be a thing just because people will always, not saying like everybody, but there'll always be people who need to feel superior in some way. And if that is one way that they know how to break a person down, then that's something that they're going to continue to carry through history. However, I do think that you're right in saying that our generation um, are some of the ones that are finally like putting down those stones for us to step on to get to a better mindset of acceptance and stuff. Like I've seen the Gen Z has been doing really well in a lot of aspects and making sure that they crush even further into these stigmas and things like that. And hopefully for Generation Alpha, which is the youngest generation right now, it'll be even better for them to be able to love and accept themselves and understand that you are you, and the only person that you need to please is yourself, because you're the only thing that is constant in your life forever. And if you can't take care of you, then it's gonna be a hell of a ride, that's for sure. And with more people especially becoming entertainers in a sense, so whether we are live streaming or YouTubers or people go to the traditional route of theater or acting, um, and things like that, it's going to forever put people up for judgment just because that's the nature of the beast. We're always gonna be judged for one thing or another, and we can only hope that building up these new generations that they'll think differently and not immediately go to, "Oh, that guy's fat. You know what that means? He's not healthy, he's weak, he can't take care of himself, definitely can't take care of a woman. What do you mean?" Or that woman, "Oh my gosh, she's fat and she's able to like be proud of it. She's stigmatizing that it's okay to be unhealthy."
Right.
So instead
Yeah.
of being confident and loving yourself. And that's something that is still going on to this day, where if you are not the certain idea of health that you are glorifying an unhealthiness, like it's ridiculous. Because Sam, you have Lyme disease. From the outside, you look healthy as a ham, but on the inside, you're struggling.
Oof.
And it's stupid is what it is.
Yeah.
Just
People
stupid.
people
I feel
are
like
stupid.
I feel like, so you use the example of fat, but it does it go the other way for men as well? If you're very thin and small, like,
Yeah.
is that the same thing too? So
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
what is the ideal, right? Because we know the ideal, right? What society wants. The ideal
Yeah.
for women in society is to be Kim Kardashian,
Basically.
right? Who
Flat
would you
tummy,
guys
big
say
curve.
is the ideal
know it.
for men, put on by men?
Yeah. But even just that, you asking that, I was thinking like, well, that's not attractive to me.
It's not attractive to no.
Exactly. It's different for
But
everybody.
that is
Cool.
who is put up by society up on a pedestal as like, or like J-Lo, or it's that overly curvy, I'm a vase that has pretty flowers with big curly hair kind of thing. That's like what is considered what we all should strive to be
Yeah.
right now. Who do you guys think is the male statue.
Big T.
The male statue that society is like, well, if you're not like this, then you aren't a man.
Mm.
Is it like Thor?
Well, I mean, before or after?
Well, that's a god, so that's also different.
Right. Okay, is it like the anybody in the Avengers?
Okay, I guess you could say like Captain America.
Yeah, that's usually
Mhm.
people's
Yeah.
go-to.
Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
like people be like Captain America. You have to have that image, as far as being a man.
Right.
Ugh.
But for me, it's like, no, I'm good. I've grown to love who I am. I've grown to love my body. This is my body. I have to take care of my body my way. If I go through all the hoops and the ropes of trying to look like somebody else, then I become that image. But I love my image. And my wife loves it too, because she said if I ever lose my stomach, it's going to be a problem. So I can't lose my stomach.
Do you talk to it? You're just like, you can't go anywhere.
You can't go anywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the same thing when it comes to like a woman's image. Like I said, I shook my head no to Kim Kardashian because we seen
What's so funny is that a lot of people don't find her ideal.
right,
But
and I don't
society
find her.
Media
and like
does.
social media and all that kind of stuff is like, but no. But who's the one that's picking this, right?
That's what I want to know. Who is picking?
It's just some
picking this?
random white dude, behind some
Right?
studio doors. It's like, what's going to be the top story? And it's like, it's amazing because, there's so much hypocrisy when it comes to like image and media, right?
Right.
Because you'll be talking about like Tom Hiddleston or something, and like, oh my God, he looks so great as Loki. Like, he's amazing. Like, he looks great. He looks awesome. And then they'll kind of like almost like borderline exemplify someone or like almost fetishize a guy who like gained a little bit of weight and like he's got like a dad bod now. He's like a little bit of an older actor and he's like, oh, he looks so good in that dad bod. Damn, he's looking sexy. And it's like, okay, celebrities get that kind of like weird juxtaposition, but like normal people, like if I go out there and I'm rocking a quote unquote dad bod or my stomach out and something, and someone's like, oh, that guy's gross. Like, why is he so out of shape? And it's like there's this weird hypocrisy where it's like you could either be like this like fit god or like not, and if it's a
Right.
celebrity, it's
It's
awesome.
fine.
But if you're a normal person, it's not, and it's that whole weird celebrity fantasizing world that we live in where we kind of judge everything off of what celebrities do in the United States. It's just bizarre. It's
Yeah.
bizarre.
That's what
Very.
people fantasize you as. You're just like, no, you don't know what I look like naked. No
Yeah.
way.
And you're not
You
going
don't
to.
Nope. It's me and my mans.
I don't get that either, because like it could be a big dude wearing a t-shirt that's a little too small. Be like, oh, you see his little beer belly hanging at the bottom of his shirt as a celebrity. But somebody like me, they were like, ew, tucking your belly. Like, dude, that's not cool.
Yeah.
I don't want nobody else to see that. Like,
Yeah.
What a weird comment.
yeah.
Mhm.
Tuck in your
Yeah,
belly.
Okay, that's that was a
Oh,
joke
I
on a
just like
movie I saw.
imagine, like, you
Like it's a shirt.
Yeah.
Wait, that sounds painful.
Yeah, but like that was a joke on a movie.
Right.
But like my image, like I like we talk about like the J Lo's and the Kim Kardashians. Give me Jill Scott. I can't say that out loud because my wife would kill me, because they
Sorry,
both
we
the same
didn't hear
size. So
anything. We bleeped it. What?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
listen, give me, just give me. I'm good.
there we go.
There you go.
There you go,
Yeah.
Steve. Have fun with that one.
Yeah.
It's just it's so weird because like you're saying that the juxtaposition of a celebrity, and specifically we're talking about men today, is that your body can move so much and they're just like, oh, they're probably just in between roles and relaxing because they worked so hard and whatever, and then they get muscular like, oh cool, they worked out so hard and now they're ready for this cool movie and yada yada yada, we don't care kind of thing. But if anybody in the normal world, and that I feel like includes streamers too, because as far as live streamers go, even pre-recorded YouTubers and stuff like that, but mainly live streamers, your degree of separation from the people that are watching you is literally a screen, because you can talk to them, versus like a movie. It's the whole production of the movie itself, that I feel like the pressure of being a certain way as a live streamer is so much stronger to be the ideal. I hate just even saying ideal. Same with like self-care. that I feel like it's really unfair. It's obviously unfair to everybody to have to be like shoved into a certain box, but I feel like as a live streamer, it's even more unfair, because you are in between being a regular person and being a celebrity, right? It doesn't matter how many people that watch you and how long you've been streaming and what you stream or where you are in the scale and hierarchy of anything. You're still considered a celebrity to somebody, because as soon as somebody meets you and they're like, oh my gosh, you're BigCheeseKIT, oh my gosh, I love you, I watch you on stream and everything, you're instantly a celebrity. Because you don't just say that to like, Susie that you see at the car pickup line, and you're like, oh my gosh, Susie, I saw you in your car and you have the cute Johnny kid and he's so cute and I love you, oh my gosh. Like, you don't say that.
Not Johnny.
Poor Johnny, Susie's mom. But it's just, it's so, I feel like as live streamers, everybody's just put into this really unfair category of getting both sides, of getting that celebrity influence and also getting that everyday person influence, because we're all trying to be relatable to our community. So we want to be like, just want to be yourselves. But then you still want to be like, I'll be myself, but from like 6 feet away kind of thing.
Right.
It definitely, I don't really have anything to close out with that other than that. It's just definitely unfair that.
Yeah, it is. And
double-edged.
I know this is about men, but going a little bit off of what Sam said, like recently I've posted my stomach and I look a certain way in this little box, but people don't realize my tummy been ripped up, honey. She had a lot of babies. And it just needs to be normalized that people have normal bodies. Regardless of your gender or your sex or whatever. Like you have your body, and it's so hard to love yourself whenever people are constantly beating you down. So it's literally a wake up and work on it basis.
Yeah.
And it's not fair. I don't think it'll ever be fair. But having these kinds of open dialogues where people can feel like others feel the same way and they're not alone in the fact that none of us have the ideal body of whatever society likes to paint.
Right.
But we have our bodies, and that should be ideal in the sense that it's carrying you through this life, and that's super dope. Like, thanks, body. You're doing great. Proud of you.
Down with ideal bodies. Let's not have that anymore. Let's just
have your body.
stick to the whole, as long as you're not hurting yourself or somebody else, you do you. Right? And obviously if you're being unhealthy and your body is reacting unhealthy, then obviously you're hurting yourself. So you got to change it. But otherwise just be.
Exactly. And get off of, like, if you've been somebody on this train, you need to get off of it right now at the first stop. Pull down on the lever, because being on the glorifying unhealthiness train is very detrimental to a lot of mental health. It's detrimental to your mental health, because then you're going to constantly put yourself in the pit of needing to be a certain physique and restricting calories and your weight and getting yourself in an unhealthy mindset. So it's important not to do that, because it is a dangerous road to be on. Go ahead.
And just to piggyback that, like, people, if you don't understand this already, anyone that's watching, 99.9% of FadFit, which is like fad kind of fitness programs and stuff like that, are basically pyramid schemes. So
Oh, yeah.
they're made by already healthy, already in shape people that make up these things that they think with absolutely no scientific backing sometimes um to get fit fast, and it's like it just goes back to the whole conversation. Like you just gotta you can't you have to realize and open your eyes to the fact that like a lot of mainstream fitness nowadays is pushing you to be a certain way because of money. It's not pushing
Yeah.
you to be a
Mhm.
certain way because of how they want you to look or how healthy they want you to be. It's they want you to fit into a certain box so they can make money off of you.
It's
That's
a lot of those
that's the
things
truth.
that like you take the diet pills and then but once you stop taking the diet pills then they don't work anymore and you gain weight so you have to keep taking the diet pills. I felt
Yeah.
like this is the same way with Proactive. Remember when it first came out and you would take it and your
Oh my
skin would be
gosh.
so clear and then as soon as you stop 2 days later you're like what is going on? So you have to keep spending money and that's exactly what it
Yeah.
is it's all everything's just a money scheme if you think about it.
Ah, don't we love it? Take it
We
from
have a
someone
whole
who
other
used to
podcast
sell.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to sell Herbalife.
Oh really? I just finished watching the Lula
Yes.
Rich documentary on
Mm.
Amazon.
I will say the amount of money I've gotten back because of cases against Herbalife, because the pyramid.
I
I
know
love
some
getting the
people that
random
still
check.
sell Herbalife.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean it's still a thing, and I'm not going to lie,
Yeah.
it worked for me, but at the same time, it was all about money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all about money, and getting people under me was because I wanted money, so I would
Mhm.
sell them this dream. That's the whole point, and
Yeah.
it's
Yep.
disgusting. Stay
We
away.
should have an MLM
Yeah.
conversation one day because I
Can
love
we?
talking about
Invite
MLMs.
invite
That
Blizz
was a
Bear
great health coach.
to
Oh
that
my gosh, yes.
podcast. Invite Blizz. Yeah, invite Blizz. He's the king of MLMs.
That's awesome.
Oh
So
my
at the
gosh.
end of our last conversation, we asked our two guests that if you could sum up just a little sentence of somebody that is extremely struggling or just struggling to accept themselves or their bodies or just their minds, what would you say to encourage them? And I know that's a lot to think about. So whenever you guys are ready, jump in.
Whoever feels motivated to go first.
All right. So you've hit rock bottom. I've been there. You're at the bottom now. Now you have every opportunity to plant your seeds to grow again.
So good.
I'm putting down a quote. Oh, I need to put this on the picture.
Yeah, that was
write
great.
that down.
Yeah.
Put
I
it
got
on a
tattoo coming up
mug.
next
Mark
week.
that.
I think I could fit that right here.
Yeah, there you go. I feel like at the end of all these, once we feel like we've accomplished our series, we should go through and have Steve clip from each one everybody's things, and we'll just have a little montage. And you'll put it over like the pretty sunset, stuff like that.
Just slowly rising, like
Yeah,
Wait,
Not
like the
setting,
Teletubby
rising.
baby?
yeah, exactly.
I think
Good.
I think just to anyone out there that's struggling, whether it be with your body image, whether it be with your mental health, if you're on the internet and you're in one of our spaces, just know that the corner of the internet that we exist on is a very safe place to reinvent yourself, whether
Yeah.
that be physically, mentally, whether that be finding your love of something, whether it be just following someone out of the darkness. This corner of the internet is a lovely place, and I guarantee you that most of the content creators that you'll come across can relate and deal with and relate to the struggles that you're dealing with, because you know what? Guess what? We're dealing with them too. And we are not bronze sculpted gods from the heavens. We are normal people. And just because we every day put ourselves out in the public eye does not mean that we're not there right with you, holding your hand and keeping you, safe in our spaces. And
Yeah.
as dark as it's going to get, there will always be light. And as hard as it seems now coming out of COVID, there will always be a path to bring yourself back to wellness, whether it be mental or physically. So never give up. Never give up, because whether it be me or someone else, someone will guide you out of that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
These are good ones. Wow. I feel like there's just so much we could just talk forever about this. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a never-ending conversation. I am glad, Sam, that we decided to extend this series outside of just having girls.
Yeah.
And now we have just men, and we want to expand it even further than that. And we're still kind of toying that around. But like, even as far as if you're non-binary or you don't identify with any kind of gender, what are the standards that are put on your body image if you're transitioning, maybe, or if you're a person of color, especially? I feel like inside specific cultures there's different things that are required of you, or the pressure, or so I'm so excited to expand this even further. And I feel like now that we have the biggest circle of female and male, we can start then now just getting smaller and smaller and getting more into the depths of everything. I'm excited for that.
I am too. And I think that it'll be really good to continue this conversation. And as Crispy was saying, like him and Cheese, like they've got really good communities that they've cultivated that are safe spaces. And if you're a guy that wants somebody that they can relate to, please go and love on them at all times, at any time, because they are wonderful. Look at that sweet hug. Everybody give yourself a hug. We love some self-lovins.
So I did the guest command there in chat, so you guys can go. I put their Twitter so that way you can go follow them on all the social medias. But you guys both stream on Twitch, so that will be the place to see them live. But before we go, Crispy, can you tell us where we can find you and what are you playing right now or going to be playing soon?
Ooh, okay. You can find me everywhere at /CrispyGameplay, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Twitch. Right now on my stream, we're playing a lot of Phasmophobia because there was just a new patch. And I'm a very sweaty solo professional hunter in Phasmophobia. So I love the puzzles of that game. We also just played Forewarned last night, which was a lot of fun. A lot of that in Dead by Daylight. I'm playing right now with the hint or like a spattering of single player games in between. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on right now. I'm part of the EA council for the new Dead Space game coming up, so that's been a lot of fun. I've been kind of updating people on that, the Dead Space remake, and yeah, so it's been that's about it.
Thank you for being on our show today.
Thank you for having
Cheese,
me.
what about you?
Oh gosh,
there's always like a moment.
No, you can find me on all socials as well. /BigCheeseKIT, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. Those are the main ones. The games that I'm playing now: Vampire the Masquerade, Blood Hunt, Deathloop, Tetris. Still got to play some Tetris.
Always Tetris.
And yeah, just playing a different variety of games, and I will be playing VR games for the very first time ever on the stream. Because I said that I was going to do VR once I reached 5,000 subscribers, and that was last year. And Payne got me an Oculus 2, so he wants to do all horror games in October. So I'm screwed.
You're gonna be great, sweetie.
Wear diapers.
That's amazing.
But yeah,
that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm not excited. I'm not ready for it. No, I'm not ready for it. No, but yeah, and one more thing as far as this conversation. This is a joke, by the way, so don't take offense to it.
Okay.
I don't think that God had a six-pack as well. So the image that he showed was to not judge others.
Yo, big truth.
There you go.
Take it from your fellow person of faith.
I was gonna say. You're right.
I'm just gonna. I'll exit this conversation.
Also, Crispy, because I'm really selfish, can we see Sylvie?
If I can find him, yeah. Give me a second. Did he run away? I don't know where he is. Okay, here's the camera.
I don't know if you guys see him in there.
I'm not coming out, human. Leave me alone, human.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, I see you, Fluff.
Look at him. Oh, he's so
Say hi,
mean.
bud.
He's like,
He's
nah.
like, I'm trying to rest, y'all. You mess with me so much. You don't know where you can see more Sylvie content at
Aha! 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 It's a bun bun.
Oh,
Oh, it's a bun bun.
Sylvie!
he's like that. Camera, get that out of my face. Give me ooh, food.
He landed on his food.
I know, where'd it go? What
Munch,
is
munch,
that like
munch.
a Cheeto?
Oh. Oof.
You know, from this view, it looked like a
Bye-bye.
cookie roll.
Okay.
Thank you for the content.
Thank you, thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We'll be back next Friday for more Magic Word, and we'll let you know when we decide what that is when we know.
Because we're really great at planning.
Ta-da! Okay, bye.
Bye.